Hi there, I'm Teresa Crimmins. I'm the director for the USA National Phenology Network. And in this brief video, I'm going to walk you through the cherry flowering data sets that we're making available in support of the brand new cherry blossom prediction competition that we are really excited to be a part of. One of the primary activities of the National Phenology Network is to run a citizen science program called Nature's Notebook. And through this program, participants all over the country keep track of when they're seeing seasonal events occur in plants and animals. Among the species available for tracking through this program are a number of different prunus species. And so in support of this particular effort, we have packaged up the flowering observations for these 5 species of prunus for you to be able to potentially use in your forecasting efforts. The protocols that folks use that are participants in Nature's Notebook are what we call status protocols, which means that first they register individual plants, and then they make repeated observations on those plants on different dates. And each time they make an observation, they're reporting on the status of different phenophases. The different phenophases that observers are asked to report on for cherry trees are listed on the left here. Our primary focus for this effort is flowers, so we're going to hone in on that first. But I want to show you the whole expanse of everything that's available too. So the way it works is, pretend it's January 31st, 2022. If you were observing this particular tree, first you'd write down the date, and then you'd be asked to answer, do you see flowers or flower buds? And if you look at this tree, indeed, yes, we do. So the observer would report yes, that the status of the flowers or flower buds is yes. Secondly, we also ask, do you see open flowers? And on this tree, we do see open flowers. In addition, we can run quickly through the other phenophases as well, just so you can kind of see what the entire reporting protocol looks like. I can't really tell if there are breaking leaf buds. I definitely do see leaves, or, oh, that's wrong. That should be a yes. I also see increasing leaf size. Some leaves are getting bigger. We do not see colored leaves or falling leaves, nor do we can't really tell about whether there are fruits, though we could probably guess that there's probably not yet fruits. We also ask about the intensity or the abundance of a phenophase when someone reports, yes, they do see it. And so again, since we're focusing on the flowering in this particular example or in this analysis, I want to show you that when somebody answers yes to flower or flower buds, they are then prompted with this subsequent question of how many flowers or flower buds are present. And they're prompted to answer in the form of a bin, not an actual count. Again, this is a kind of a weak example because I'm not showing you the whole tree, but you could guess probably that if we took this and looked at the whole tree, it would probably be more than 10,000 flowers or flower buds. Similarly, we ask a question about what proportion of the flower buds that are on the tree are open when you're making that observation. And so in this case, I would report 95% or more because it looks to me like nearly all of those flower buds are open. And so all of those are bits of information that you will receive in the data file if you were to work with the Nature's Notebook data. What we're providing for you, again, is all of the data that we have had submitted to the Nature's Notebook program for those 5 species of prunus over the years 2009 to 2021. And they are for any location in the US that those observations were submitted. They are not just for the cities that you are being asked to make the forecasts for. In addition, we're making the data sets available in 2 different formats, and that's what I'm about to walk through. We have what we call our status and intensity data set, as well as our individual phenometrics. And depending on how you're planning on analyzing the data, one or the other might be a better match for your analysis. So to go back to the structure of the data, because this will help in understanding what those 2 different data types look like. Again, remember that we are asking our observers to go out and make repeated observations on the same individual plants, and in this case, cherry trees, through time. And each time you're answering yes or no to all of the phenophases, but in particular to those 2 questions about flowers and flower buds or open flowers. So in this example, our observer is reporting on the open flowers phenophase, and they observed on March 28th, March 31st, April 3rd, 6th, and 9th. All of the dates, the first 3 dates that they observed, when they looked at open flowers, they said no. And so they have a no for March 28th, a no for March 31st, and a no for April 3rd. Then they first saw open flowers on April 6th, so they said yes. And then they continued to see open flowers later on, and so they also said yes on April 9th. What this ends up looking like in our status and intensity data set is every one of those observation dates becomes a single record in the data file. And so we can tell that all these observations are from the same tree because they have the same individual ID. The individual ID refers to the individual plant. You then see the dates on which those observations were made, as well as what the observer reported for open flowers. Note that an indication of a no for a phenophase is denoted as a 0 in the database. And if they report yes, it is a 1. They also have the option to report question mark, which is I couldn't really tell. That will show up as a -1 in the phenophase status column. And then finally, again, recall that if somebody says yes to a phenophase, then they are also invited to report on how many or how much, and that's that intensity or abundance information. And so this information is not depicted up here in my example, but this kind of information is also available to you in the data file if the observers did report on it. Now switching to the individual Phenometrics data type, what we do here is basically take all that information that was in the status data and compress it down to a single record for an individual plant in a year for a phenophase. So again, this is the same information where the observer said, no, I don't see open flowers for the first 3 dates that they looked. Then they first reported yes to open flowers on April 6th. So here's the important bit. What we are actually wanting to extract from this data is when did somebody first say yes to open flowers for that individual tree in that year. And so what you will see then for that individual tree, 191, and in this case it would be for the year of observation, that April 6th was the first date, the date of first yes to open flowers. In addition, we also return for you how many days prior did they last say no. And so you'll see a 3 here because they last said no on April 3rd, which is 3 days ahead of April 6th. This is important because this is your error around when the thing actually began and when someone reported it. The truth is, April 6th may not actually be the date that flowers first opened, but that is the date that the person first saw them. They may have actually opened first on April 4th or April 5th. And so you have a little bit of error around there that you may be interested in incorporating into your model. The data are much more thoroughly documented in a open file report that is linked to in the README file that's provided with the data set. And if you have any additional questions, you are welcome to reach out to me through my email. That's also my Twitter handle, and through our website, of course. Thanks very much. Good luck.